And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, we got a big basketball lineup for you guys today. Me and JB are going to talk about Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever debut. We're going to talk about the NBA Scouting Combine. We'll talk about NBA playoffs. Like I said, a big basketball lineup for you guys today. Will be all basketball. Fortunately, the NFL did delay their schedule release. That is later today, so we'll pick that up next podcast. Unfortunately, JB.
But it's not the news that you want to hear, but it is the truth.
JB, cut to the intro.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take. And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, me and JB got a big basketball podcast for you guys today. Speaking of basketball, JB, the Indiana Fever played their first game where Caitlin Clark made her WNBA debut, where the Fever were defeated by the Sun, 92-71. Caitlin Clark led the team in 20 points, but she did have 10 turnovers, JB. What's your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's first WNBA debut, my friend?
Well, I mean, we all could see that she had a horrible first half with most of these turnovers, and her first points was in the second half when she stole the ball. I did watch a little bit of the game, but yes, the first half was atrocious for her debut. But to me, I don't think it's not going to be that much of an issue. She was just getting used to everything, and the rest were just basically just giving her foul calls left and right in the beginning of the first half, and it was I don't know if it was like uncalled for. Like I seen some of the calls that they were making on her. It was ridiculous. Honestly, most of those calls shouldn't have been called for. But it is what it is. And yes, she did score 20 points with the 10 turnovers, which I do believe that's probably just a one thing done. She's probably not going to do that many turnovers. With her, the second year player coaching her be at the end of the first half. Aaliyah Boston, she basically took her underneath her wing and she's all like, "This is fine. We did this the exact same. I did the exact same way. You'll be fine. Just play your game." And she had 20 points, led the team in points, and so yeah.
You know, today's sports fact, I'm going to leave it with this, because today's sports fact of the day, JB, was Caitlin Clark's 10 turnovers were the most turnovers for a player's debut in WNBA history. It's not a good stat Caitlin Clark's a part of. She had a double-double with turnovers. It's not good. Not good. 20 points, though. First half, I watched the entire game. Actually, I won't say that because I was going back and forth between the NBA playoffs. But in the first half, she was nervous. She was frustrated, clapping her hands. You could just tell there were some nerves. She cares a lot. She's a
Mm-hmm.
hard worker. She's going to be fine. Like I said, she had 20 points. The person we should be kind of concerned with really is Aaliyah Boston. She is also a former number one pick in the draft 2 years ago with the Fever, and she was WNBA Rookie of the Year last year, JB. I actually went and watched her in person. And my son went to a Fever game because he wanted to go see a basketball game, but by the time he wanted to go, the NBA season was over. So we hitched ourselves to a Fever game, and she was a baller, JB. That was a game where the Fever lost in overtime, and she had a really good performance. But last night, 4 points, 6 rebounds from Alea Boston.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be the veteran of her and Caitlin Clark, Rookie of the Year last year, and she was an All-Star last year. Only 4 points. You see that Caitlin Clark's out there struggling. I think she should have been a little more involved. That's my opinion. But Caitlin Clark did lead the team in points. The only other person to score double digits was Smith with 13. So the Fever aren't the most talented team. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had, I don't know, the number one pick literally 2 years in a row. So the Fever haven't been good in a long time. This is a young Fever team. Alea Boston's
Mm-hmm.
a young player. Caitlin Clark just played one game. I think they're going to win a championship together one day. It's not going to be this season. I think next season will be big. This will be a big growth year for them. I really want to see Caitlin Clark improve.
Yeah. But to me, I don't think Boston is that much of a. Well, I want to think of her being. It's like this is just game one. Like I said before, it's only game one. She only scored 4 points, but I mean, what all stars scored very low, and it's only her second year too. So
And that's true. I don't think Alea Boston's a good enough player to be a number one option on a championship team. Now, I do think she is a good Robin.
yeah.
I think she's a good second option, kind of like that Batman Robin type of thing you see in sports. She's a good second option. Um, and I think once Caitlin Clark gets in the film room a little bit, 10 turnovers. Do you know how you stop turnovers, JB? Get in the film room.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a gym rat all day long, and that's not going to help you with turnovers. It's not. You got
No.
to get in the film room. So get in the film room. She's amongst women, women amongst women, because she's the men's version, a man amongst man. She's with the big girls now. This isn't
Yep.
college. You're not at Iowa no more. You're not. You're with the big girls. You're in the big girl league, and it showed last night. 10 turnovers. It's a more physical game in the WNBA.
Yep.
Is
Like it's just
just
like,
is.
and she's getting used to it. I don't think it's not going to take long to get used to. Like you said, if she's in the film room watching the other teams facing what she's facing next, I think it's the New York Liberty is what they're playing next. I do believe is their next game. So if she just watched the film and I think she'll be fine. I
And
think
it is to be noted that the Sun last year were one of the best defensive teams in the WNBA. So she didn't have an easy number one opponent. So
yeah,
that's to be noted.
but to put 20 points on them, I think it shows really great improvement. So
I mean, I agree. 20 points, just got to cut down on them turnovers.
yep.
She'll calm down. She'll get in the film room. She'll adjust to the WNBA pace. She'll be fine.
Oh yeah, she'll be fine.
With that, JB, me and you, like I said, man, my brother, this is a big basketball podcast, my guy. So with that, JB, the NBA scouting combine has been going on over the last couple of days and continues. So JB, we're gonna get the scouting combine. You got plenty of players. You have Sar, who's projected to be the number one pick. You got Zach Edey out there. You have Bronny James out there. JB, what's your thoughts on the NBA scouting combine? Bronny today, my friend, he had 13 points. That's a lot better than his 4 from the other day.
Right. Um. I mean, one, I do not have any stats because I don't know what website or the websites that we are using doesn't want to work today. So I have no stats. So I am just basically just looking through all articles. And yes, I do agree. Bronny James he looked a little bit better. I think he had 13 points in the second game, I do believe.
Yes, only yeah, that is
So
correct.
only
Yes.
13, but you know what? That was with all rookies, and I mean with Zach Edey. I mean, I everyone's
Okay.
saying that it's that his numbers going a lot higher now. Everyone's saying that he's going to be in the second round, but now he's saying he's going to be in the mid first round, all because of he's how he's playing and how is he looking on the combine and
Yeah.
everything else. And I even seen he's shooting threes. He is shooting threes, my brother.
Yes.
Threes. And he said he really doesn't want to put in his arsenal. And I'm like, honestly, anything that could help him get a higher draft pick. And I mean, he was draining those things left and right. But I mean, could have used that arsenal in championship game. But you know what?
Well,
He
I'm not on a I'm on
we yeah I'm not that I'm done. I'm done. We went there. We went there. That's all that matters, really. I mean, where did IU go? Oh, nowhere. Where did Michigan go? Oh, nowhere. Where did Ball State go? Oh, nowhere. Where did Alabama? Oh, nowhere. Like, but that's all I'm gonna say. Zach Edey's looking fantastic out there, and I do believe the Heat should pick him up at 15 because they have the
There's
15th. I do believe that they'd have the 15th
yes,
pick. So,
that's
and
correct.
I looked at all the teams that are in the drafting order. Most of the teams really don't need a center or a big man, in my opinion. Atlanta don't need it. Washington really don't need it.
No, Atlanta needs defense. My God, when Trey Young and Murray are out there, their defense is horrifying.
Mm-hmm. But no, Houston really don't need it. San Antonio definitely doesn't need it.
No.
Good God, no. Imagine 2 7-footers or like taller than 7 foot. I mean, we got the Timberwolves doing it, but that bite me in the butt a little bit. But yeah,
We'll get there. We'll get there later.
everyone else really don't need a center. The one team that actually really needs a center is Miami right now because we really don't have a center, a true center.
Bam's a power forward, but JB, there's two elephants in the room. I'm gonna address the first one. Zach Edey, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
Miami has a 15th pick, and a lot of mock drafts. And I actually was listening to First Things First on the way home from work the other day, and Nick Wright was even talking about how Miami should pick him up. So you're onto something there. I think it's a great move, but the elephant in the room is it baffles me that he is not the consensus number one pick in this draft. It's not a good draft class, JB. This is
Oh
not a
no.
draft class that has Brandon Miller or Chet Holmgren or Wimby. It's not one of them draft. This is a lot of scouts have said one of the worst draft classes in a long time.
Yep.
Alexander Sarr, who a lot of people have, it's debatable because how bad the draft class is. Alexander Sarr, a lot of people think is the pick. Man average less than 1 assist, 9.4 points, 4.3 rebounds. Zach Edey, I have his college stats right here, JB, is the back-to-back National Player of the Year. Averaged 2.2 blocks, 2 assists, while shooting 62.3% from the field. And he is the only player in NCAA history to average at least 25 points, 12 boards, 2 blocks, and 2 assists per game. He led who is known for choking all the way to the national championship game. And it ain't his fault we lost national championship. It ain't his fault we choked. He's the only player that actually played well.
Yep.
On top of the fact people say, "Oh, his game won't translate to the NBA." Okay, people say that, but I watched the scouting combine. JB, he moved well in the cone drills. He has very fast lane agility. Actually, his lane agility scored better than Sar's. Has to be noted. He's the number one pick. And Zach Edey shot 60% in shots at the combine off the dribble. And he shot well from three-pointer at the combine as well, but he can't shoot threes. His game won't translate. Yes, it's going to. JB, he is a big man. He had the sixth highest vertical and weighs in at 299 pounds. This dude is a beast. He is the number one pick in this draft. It amazes me how he's performing well at the combine. He proved it in college. What more do we want the man to do? Gosh dang. I don't know.
All is I do
Maybe
believe it's all because of I'm pretty sure is what college he went to.
but Glenn Robinson had a great career from Purdue. Jaden Ivey's had a good start to his career in Detroit. I know they're not a good team, but his stats, he's had a decent start. Robbie Hummel had a solid NBA career. Etwan Moore had a solid NBA career. People from Purdue have played in the league.
Oh, I know.
Jawan
It's
Johnson, there's a name. I don't know, man. Caleb Swanigan played a couple years. Rest in peace. The people have played in the league from Purdue. It's not like he's the number one pick. I can't wait till our mock draft special. People are
oh
gonna,
yeah.
because everything I see says he might be a late lottery pick. Some people say second round still. Some people say middle first, but no one says first pick. That baffles me. That is absolutely absurd to me. Those people just aren't watching. They're just not watching.
Nope.
I truly don't understand.
Even if the stats hit him in the face, and they're like, "Oh, nope."
People go, well, you have to shoot threes to play in the. Bam doesn't shoot threes. He's been in 2 finals recently. He's a big man. He's worked out just fine.
Yep.
Shaq. Shaq couldn't shoot at all. Oh, it's a different game today. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. People, what I've said it before. What wins in today's NBA, JB, is you see Giannis out there breaking 3-point records? No, but he's the
Nope.
NBA champion. Yeah, Jokic can shoot them, but do you see him out there doing it? And that's not his main focus of his game. He
Mm-mm.
can do it. Zach Edey proved he can do it. He shot 60% off the dribble at the combine. That's all I'm saying. He's the back-to-back. He's the back-to-back college player of the year. Stats are there. He's combine stats are there now. He's the number one pick in the draft.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That's the one
easily.
elephant.
I mean I mean that's easily. But like I said, how many the first pick of the NBA draft goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And do you think they're going to pick him? No. Cuz do they really need a center? No.
I think Zach Edey's better than their current center.
True. True. But are they going to pick him? No, I do believe that they're probably going to pick a small forward that can actually do some defense and actually score some points. That's what I think. But like for everyone else, really don't need a center.
All right, so yeah, Clint Capella is still the Atlanta Hawks center, and this might be take JB. I think the Hawks should take Zach Edey, pair him with Clint Capella.
Mm.
Minnesota's doing it. Clint Capella's been a walking double-double for years. Trae Young's still under contract. Zach Edey's good at defense. One of the best defensive players in college basketball. The Hawks are horrible on defense when Murray and Trae Young share the floor. Just saying.
Oh, I know. But here's another
They're
thing.
not going. They're not going to though, and I don't know why.
Here's the thing, though. Do you think that the the draft order for the NBA should it go straight to the worst record in the league, or should they keep the um, lottery the way that they're doing it now? Because I have the lottery odds in front of me right now.
The Hawks had horrible odds. Yeah, I don't have the exact stats, but they did not
So,
have very.
so the Atlanta Hawks had a 3% chance or 3% odd of winning it. Detroit had the worst record in the league. Same with Washington. They both had 14%. So you're telling me that Atlanta won. So should it go how the NFL does it? Whoever has the worst the worst record in the league goes straight number one overall, just like the WNBA. I mean, they had the worst record, they got the first pick. So why does the NBA I was like, I know it's like it's a huge giant tradition thing that the NBA has done, but is it getting too
Out of hand.
is it getting too out of hand? Because like for example, Charlotte, for example, how they've been horrible for years under Michael Jordan's under Michael Jordan, and they never gotten a number one overall pick. Never.
You know, you're throwing a wrench in this because we did not plan this topic. So,
Nope.
you know, I'm going to say, yeah, they should do what the NFL does. So long as they can get load management and tanking under control. My only fear in the NBA is you would have these teams like Detroit, Washington, that they know they're going to suck. And,
Hmm.
and, and maybe in the future, obviously, there's going to be a better draft class than this year's. Not every draft class is going to be like this season's. So you're going to have a future superstar in the making. I worry about tanking. I worry about Wizards, Pistons, Hornets teams that just Blazers just aren't very good. They're going to try to go out there and lose on purpose. Their management's going to try to make a really crappy team and put a crappy product out there. That's why the NBA does the draft lottery. But let's be honest, JB. When was the last time the Pistons were title contenders? They've been horrible for a long time.
I mean,
Wizards
since
same
the
way.
early
You
two
have
thousands.
right. I mean, they were a playoff team in the late 8 seeds, but truly title contenders. You're right. Yeah, Hornets slash Bobcats days. Horrible franchises, horrible teams. You're right. You do have bad teams already. So I do think, yeah, the NBA should go to the um, NFL tradition of the worst team gets the first pick, the NBA champion gets the last pick. I think that's what they should do, because right now you have a lot of parity in the NBA. There's a lot of good teams out there. Anyone could win. And
Hmm.
how do you get these really bad franchises to be relevant?
Exactly.
Put better quality product on the court. So yeah, I do think so.
Because I just want to look.
While you look, I will address the second elephant in the room about the draft, the combine. This is my last take on the combine. My friend is Bronny James. I've been avoiding this topic on this podcast for a while because I wanted to see how the college season and the combine looked. The elephant in the room is, yeah, the only reason he is even being talked about at all is because of who his dad is. His dad's LeBron freaking James, one of the best basketball players to ever lace him up. He was invited to the McDonald's All American because his stats weren't up there with some of the guys that got cut for that. I looked at it today. He averaged a lot less points than some of the guys for the McDonald's All American game. He got it because his dad. NBA scouts reported to Stephen A. Smith that actually happened. So, on top of the fact that he averaged less than 5 points a game for a crappy USC team, he's already had a heart attack. Hope he's doing well. All I'm saying about the heart attack, I bring that up because he's already had a health issue.
Hmm.
His stats aren't there, form out there. He's only going to get drafted in the second round because of his dad. Now, I will give him some credit. Yeah, he shot under 40% last year from the field with USC and under 5 points a game, and he's already had some heart issues. But he did have 13 points, like you said, in the scrimmage today. He had 4 points previously, so an improvement.
Hmm.
Um, and he did move well and shoot well at the combine. Um, yeah, he moved well in drills. I mean, his defense looks good. He has potential, I think, to be a good defensive player. But let's be honest, he's only going to get drafted because of his dad.
Yeah, and I agree. It's all because of his. I mean, it's all because of LeBron. I mean, it's his kid. I mean, honestly, if Kobe Bryant, I'm rest in peace. If he had a son and he went all the way up to the NBA or to the NBA Combine, bet you money they're gonna try to get him into everything as best as he can or best as they can. I mean, look, and also
And
look at Shaq's son right now. I mean, he's I don't I really don't think he's not even. He's still playing in. I
I'm
think
not.
he's still playing in college right now. But I mean, he's still looking good. I mean, there's already scouts already looking at him already. So I mean, it's because
Look,
of the greats of their kids and their spawns.
and what people need to realize though is just because your dad's good doesn't mean you're going to be as good. Bronny actually said it. I'll give him some props at the combine. He flat out said that he kind of wants to write his own path and he wants to be drafted if people think he's actually good enough. So I'll give him that. I don't blame Bronny. This is not his fault. It's not his fault. He's
No.
LeBron James's son. The dude was born that way. He was born LeBron's son. How it worked for him.
Yep.
Now, is it LeBron is a great father. I'm not necessarily a big fan of LeBron as is known on this podcast, but I think he's a good person. He's definitely a great father. He's trying to support his son. But I think in supporting his son, he's put a lot of expectations on him. He's flat
Hmm.
out said, I want to play in the NBA with my son.
Yep.
So I bring that up because
Lakers are
I think
actually
Bronny has
looking
some
at him.
defense. They're going to draft him.
Yep.
Here's the question. He said he wants to play with his son. Who's to say, JB, in the second, he's not going to get drafted in the first round. No one's using their first round pick on him. But who's to say, JB, that maybe like a really crappy team, like I don't know, the chances are a second round pick's not going to hit in the NBA, especially. So what's the chances maybe the Wizards or a Pistons team or a really really shitty Hornets team? That's my one curse word I'm allowed per podcast. A really shitty Hornets team goes. You know what? I'm drafting Bronny. Let's see if LeBron comes. Hear me?
I mean,
I'm just
he's
saying. Is that
he
a pop?
he even did say that he was willing to take a pay cut just to play for his with his son for one season. So I don't think that's still I don't think it's still going to be on the table for him. But I mean, you do have a point. I mean, who knows? Atlanta might take him in the first round pick and see if they can get LeBron James. I bet you money they'll be like, huh, maybe, just maybe we can get the best person that ever played the game on our
I
team
mean,
for
seriously.
cheap.
And then,
Hmm.
I mean, it's nepotism. It is. It's nepotism. It's all over the NBA. Go ask Giannis in the Bucks. You know, Giannis has Giannis, whatever. That's a tongue twister. You know, he has his brother on the team because he wants his brother on the team. He's not on the team because he's the best option. Let's be honest. The Bucks are already doing it. Bronny can just sit on the bench when they're up by 30 or down by 30. They'll put Bronny in. I mean, that's what it's going to probably end up being. Maybe send him to the G League to develop with their development team and call him up to play with LeBron sometimes. I mean, I'm serious. I think the Lakers are going to try to do everything in their power to make that happen
Oh yeah,
because they want the Lakers
because
want to stay relevant. And how do you stay? Yeah,
I don't think they're not going to get rid of LeBron that easy.
no, they're going to try to draft Bronny, but what if one of these crappy teams jump LA and take Bronny? Just saying that makes some interesting things. Would LeBron go to a crappy team? That's a. I can't wait for the draft to be over. It's exciting times. Exciting times, my friend.
Oh, he can go to Golden State.
Oh, we don't have time for that. With that, JB.
But no,
Oh,
going back to the Atlanta Hawks, though, winning the first number one overall pick.
yeah.
Their record was 36-46, and the Detroit Pistons was 14-68. Wizards right behind with 15-67, and the Hawks were in the play-in tournament. I don't know. I'm just
I mean, Trae Young had him in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago. He's had him in the playoffs multiple times. He's been an all-star. So I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. They should not have the first pick. I mean, the Hawks are the very definition of mid,
yeah,
but they don't deserve the first pick. No.
no. I mean, if
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to announce. This has been our casual talk. I forgot to say that. Holy crap.
Ooh, didn't know this is our casual talk. New news to
Oh,
me too, and to everyone
well, we've been all
watching.
over the
Oh yeah,
we've been all over the place anyway. So,
but
god dang it. With that, JB, me and you, with our casual talk, me and you are going to flip script to the NBA playoffs. There's going to be a lot more NBA draft. We'll have an NBA mock draft special. That'll be once the dark times. Oh,
oh, the good old
that'll
dark
probably be our
times.
first. Oh, the dark times. They're coming. I can hear him in the back. Anyway, JB, me and you are going to flip script to the NBA playoffs, my friend. And me and you have some updating to do.
Oh yeah.
Because me and you are going to talk about one series that has totally flipped script and is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Denver has now won 3 games in a row. Nikola Jokic has now won his 3rd MVP and has now become daddy of that series. Putting up a 40 burger the other night with a double-double. JB, what's your thoughts, JB, on Denver coming back from being down 2-0?
I mean, like I said with the last podcast, it's going to be a it's going to be a ride and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I don't know the reason why that how the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing this horrible 3 games in a row. I don't know what defensive scheme that they try to do or what, but honestly, Rudy Gobert cannot hold Nikola Jokic on one. He can't do it. I mean, go back to the first 2 games, played that hardcore defense, and have Anthony Edwards just go berserk. I mean, I mean, is it? I mean, whose fault is it though for these 3 losses? Is it the coaching? Is it the players?
No. Nope.
Or is it just because Nikola Jokic is putting the team on his back the past 3 games? Because honestly, I never didn't see Jamal Murray do anything these past 3 games. I mean, yes, he had 16 points last game, um, but not as much points as he's been putting up.
Oh, he didn't need to. He's Robin. That man had the night last night. I don't think this has anything to do with Minnesota. I think Minnesota's the future. Anthony Edwards is a baller. I was nervous, JB, because this is the series you're eating crow in. Because you had Minnesota in 6. I said Denver in 7. And you were giving me a hard time last week. So this is the series you're eating crow on. But I don't think your pick was horrible because Minnesota, they're going to be a championship team if they keep this core together. They're young, though. They just come off of their first playoff series victory since 2004 when Kevin Garnett was a part of the Timberwolves. They were feeling good. They have Anthony Edwards, never really been in the playoffs, past round 1. Karl Anthony Towns, same way. Rudy Gobert, he's a great defensive player in the regular season, but I think the thing more so is they're inexperienced. And Denver, they went out there and they slapped Denver around them 2 games. And it made Denver mad. It pissed them off. Denver's a championship team, JB. They've been around the block. Jokic's been around the block. They've been there before. They're that veteran team. It ain't Minnesota's time yet. They're still too young. They come across the defending champs and they made adjustments. They got punched in the mouth them 2 games, and then Denver went, I feel you. Here we go. And then Denver slapped it on them. I said last week, JB, they're a championship team. That championship mentality ain't going to go away easy. Defending champs ain't going away. Jokic is that dude. And then, like you said, I know Murray, 16 points, okay, but Aaron Gordon, double-double, 18 and 10. Caldwell Pope, 16. Braun had 10. It was a team effort. Jokic led the way, but Denver just punching them back.
Yeah. And I mean, am I surprised of the way that Denver is playing right now? Excuse me. No, I am not. I knew they were going to fight back.
Oh yeah.
I knew they were.
Hey,
But
hey, you
but
said six.
the
You said
one
six.
the one game that actually truly to me made no sense at all was not this game. Stand by. Oh, I just had it. I think it was game 3 when Anthony Edwards had 44 points. Everyone else was in double, almost literally almost everybody on the Timberwolves was in double digits. Jaden McDaniels 11 points. Karl Anthony Towns with 13, even though he shot horrible that game, but he had pretty good defense with 12 rebounds. Rudy Gobert with 11 with 14 points. So two people with double doubles. Anthony Edwards with 44 points. Mike Conley with 15. And Naz Reid with 11. And then I don't know what was up with this game, but the two people that actually probably held it together was Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon had 27 and Jokic had 35, and Jamal Murray with 19 and Justin Holiday with 10 and Christian Braun with 11. Everyone else really didn't do much. I mean, that game right there kind of really irritated me a little bit, but I mean, he had really great stats for the Temples, and you still lost. I'm like, we you guys have to play a better defense than what you're showing right now, because this is not how you guys played. Especially you're losing 3 games in a row. Like that is not your game right now. It's like play how you normally played. Just keep the ball rolling and everything will be fine. Just play your game.
I will say I am shocked how the narrative flipped so quickly because Minnesota was like boom, and then it just automatically Denver. It just went from like that. It
Yep.
changed, and it's weird to see something like that. That's why I'm more so knocking this down to the defending champs had some adversity. They got punched in the mouth, and they came fighting back. Yeah, I watched that game last night, JB. I stayed up late. I'm feeling it, but us here out in the East Coast. I watched that game, and Jokic was literally pointing and trying to match himself up on Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert could not stop him.
No.
And Rudy Gobert, in my opinion, here's a hard take. Rudy Gobert's a Hall of Fame player. This dude's a multi-time All Defensive Player, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
And Jokic is out there making him look horrible. He's just putting him on blast, and it was impressive. I think just Denver is just that good. I think Minnesota, they're playing good ball, but Denver's just not letting Minnesota break through yet. Minnesota's just too young.
Yeah. And I agree. But at the same time, I mean, if that's to me, I see it this way. If you see Nikola Jokic trying to get on with Rudy Gobert, guess what? Try to switch before that even happens. Karl Anthony Towns, to me, Karl Anthony Towns is a better he can play a lot better defense than what Jokic is or Rudy Gobert is doing with Jokic. Honestly, I mean he's more versatile. He's more quicker. He's more. I mean he can choose. I feel like to me, Karl Anthony Towns is quicker than what Jokic is at right now.
And you could have I mean right now I would say so as probably your best option, yeah, because Carl Anthony Towns is more versatile than Gobert is. And then you can
Yeah.
I'm I then you have to say who you gonna put Gobert on because I wouldn't put Gobert on Aaron Gordon either. He's too well. Probably be your only option.
I mean, they did it the first 2 games, and look how that turned out.
Fair enough.
So, but like I said, am I surprised that the Nuggets take a 3-2 lead? No, I'm not. I think the Timberwolves. I still believe it. The Timberwolves is still too good to lose this series. They're too good.
Okay.
I still put my ground. I mean, yes, I did say 6 games, but I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Game 7.
That's fair. Okay, so JB's still sticking with his Minnesota pick. Okay. I like how you're sticking your ground. I like that. Okay. I'm gonna stick Denver in 7. I'm not gonna waver here. I think Minnesota's gonna bounce back. And I think Denver's championship experience will show in Game 7. I'll give a Minnesota. I'm gonna stick with my pick too. I like that. With that, JB, now I'm going to move on to the series where I have to eat crow because we're going to talk about the Pacers and Knicks because Indiana ended up tying the series, JB, 2-2, and it was getting interesting, but New York was able to go out there and obliterate them last night, JB, and they have now taken a 3-2 series lead against the Pacers going back to Indiana. JB, what is your thoughts on the Pacers series? The Pacers now trail 3-2.
Well, hopefully, I think they play Friday. I do believe they play Friday, right? I do believe they do.
That is correct.
So I mean, we'll know more on Friday. But I mean, like I said before, and I'll say it again. If you stop Jalen Brunson, you win the game. Right now, he's not stopping at all. Yes, they have the worst coming back or horrible defense when you getting off the rebound but I mean, honestly, like I said, Tyrese Halliburton had a horrible game once again. Pascal Siakam had a pretty good game last game with 22 points. But that's not going to cut it at all. Because if you have someone that's scoring 44 points, that's not going to cut it. And like I said, and he's consistent with these points too. He's 40 plus, 30 plus almost every game. So, I mean, like I said, you have a washed up Pascal Siakam can give you 20 points here and there.
Oh.
Ever since his injury,
Oh.
like I said, and you can disagree with me all you want.
Oh, that's something we totally disagree. Oh my goodness, JB.
He's to me he is not in his prime anymore, and you can
Him and
actually
Halliburton.
see yes he can score 20 plus points, but guess what? That's all you're gonna get out of him, and he's an all-star. I mean, look at all these all-stars that's pulling up with 30 plus points. Yes, Pascal Siakam can do it from time to time, not all the time. Look at, I mean, yes, I'm comparing with young players and Pascal Siakam. Yes, I get it. I mean, also Tyrese Halliburton still inconsistent. To me, he needs to be consistent. I mean, yes,
I'll give you that.
he could put up 30 plus points if he wants to, but he's only shooting 9 shots on the field for that and only for almost 34 minutes. Bro, you're an all-star. You're having a washed up power forward, small forward guy shooting most of your shots. Like, that's not an all-star caliber. Like, you need to put up more shots at least. You went 5 for 9. You had over 50% of your shots. Shoot more, my guy. And you had Andrew Newbarb. He shot 4 for 10. He had 11 points. Miles Turner, he had 16 points. He shot 12 points on the field. Pascal Siakam with 15. He went 7 for 15. I mean, everyone's talking how good Tyrese Halliburton is. Yes, he's good. But guess what? He's not consistent.
In the playoffs, right.
In the playoffs, I mean, excuse
I
me.
mean, he struggled late in the regular season too. I mean,
That's why I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that the Pacers are in this far. With Tyrese Halliburton's playing right now, being inconsistent, where they need him to be consistent game after game after game. I'm surprised they're this far, honestly, in my opinion.
I'm not because of Pascal Siakam. JB for the Pacers since being traded 21.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, my friend. And Tyrese Halliburton, him and Pascal Siakam have led the Pacers to their first playoff series since the Roy Hibbert, Paul
Roy
George days, JB.
Hibbert.
Hibbert.
I remember when
Pacer fans and people.
we seen them and with LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh and Ray Allen.
Mm,
Those were the days.
yep. We were up in the nosebleeds, and
No,
every
we're
time
up in
Roy
the
Hibbert hit a shot.
nosebleeds, and those were the times. And every time you hear his score, Roy Hibbert. It was
Them
funny.
were the days.
Those were the days.
Exactly. And it's been so long since the Pacers have actually, they've made the playoffs a few times, but their first playoff series win in nearly, I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but around 10 years. If you have the exact stat, let us know. It's around 10 years. It's the Pacers' last won a playoff series, JB. So I'm going to give Halliburton and Pascal Siakam all the credit in the world, and they led the Pacers to the in-season tournament championship. Take that for what you will. Who cares? Um, so, but they backed it up with actually making the playoffs and winning a playoff series. So they backed it up a little bit. So they put some respect on Indiana Pacers basketball. That's cool. I'm not backing down from my pick either. Obviously I said Indiana in 6. And this is the series I may have to eat crow on because Indiana tied that series and they went out last night and they got obliterated, JB. Josh Hart had a double-double. It wasn't just Jalen Brunson. Dante,
Mm-hmm.
I call him Dante's Inferno, didn't even play very well last night. He played good previously. But Josh Hart double-double. McBride had 17. Burks had 18. Burks was making plays. And New York Knicks, they're injured right now. I mean, Halliburton needs to be better. I don't put this on Pascal at all. He played relatively well last night. Tyrese Halliburton's supposed to be the best player in this team. Pascal's supposed to be Robin. Or Halliburton's got to be better than 13 points if Indiana has a chance in this. I'm going to say he's going to be. He had a bad game last game. I expect him to bounce back in Game 6. He's going to be in Indiana, home court. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal let their season get eliminated at home. I don't think that happens. I'll stick with my pick. Stick with Indiana in 7.
Okay. I mean, I'm just.
Well, you inspired me a little bit. You didn't back down. I was thinking about it. I'm like, God, Indiana came out flat last night. They straight up did. They came out flat. But they're a talented team. I don't see that happening 2 times in a row.
I mean, I'm and I'll like, and I'll keep saying it. Tyrese Halliburton needs to be that star player on
Better.
that team.
Yes.
Him and Miles Turner both need to have an all star points and how they play. Like only 9. I'm just only 9 shots. You only shot 9. And you had Pascal Siakam, which is 30 years old. Ever since that injury, the only reason why I'm saying he's kind of washed is because of his injury. That injury had a huge toll on him.
It did.
Ever since he came back, he's never been the same. I mean, he's been
He's
bashed
still an
around.
all-star player.
He's still an all-star player. I'm not saying he's not an all-star anymore. But what I'm saying is, ever since that injury, he's been going from team to, or I think this like his what, third team now. Ever since his injury,
He played for Toronto. They traded him to Indiana.
They did? I thought he'd play for a different team, and that's probably where.
Nope. He played in 2016 for the Raptors, and that was up until last season when he was traded.
Okay.
Won a
Okay.
championship with them.
So I
Yep.
I thought he played for a different team, and they were like, no, let's just give him to Indiana. So that's probably where I'm probably thinking of someone completely different. But anyways, with ever since that injury, he hasn't been himself. He hasn't been giving up his 30 plus points that he's been giving out with Toronto, and ever since that injury, he has been giving 12 points, 13, sometimes 30, but not not like an all-star caliber points, or his full potential is not what he was going for playing with back when he was in Toronto. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that he's not in his prime anymore, all because of his injury, because that was a horrible injury to go through. Especially
It
with
was.
especially with the basketball player, like you, that's one injury you don't want to have, because it will ruin your whole entire season or your whole entire career, and it shows. So
That's fair. I think he's done an amazing job of overcoming it. I mean,
he has done an amazing job, but I mean, with all the points that he's had for the past few games, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's just not how it was, how he was playing before. So
JB will disagree on that forever. With that, me and JB are going to talk about another series that's actually currently happening right now, where that game is being led by Boston 51-48 at this current moment as we're recording. JB, not really a lot to talk about in this series, but Boston's up in this series 3-1. The game's around halftime. Boston's winning with a narrow margin. What's your thoughts right now, my friend, on that series? We both had Boston winning, but it looks like in easy fashion.
yeah, I mean, they're not down too much in this game right now. But I mean, Boston's normal to me. I feel like Boston is a second half team where they can come out and actually do some damage in the second half. But I mean, last game, Cleveland gave him with the run, gave them a huge. I want to say like a huge. Not want to say a huge problem, but they won. They won by 7 points last game. Not a huge margin is what they thought they were going to. So
Without Donovan Mitchell.
yeah, and and Jared Allen, both of them are injured right now. So, but Darius Garland held that team up with 30 points. Levert with 19, Mobley with 19, and our old Max Struess with 15.
Max Strus.
We shouldn't have got rid of him. But I mean, he's doing really good. He had 2 steals that game, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, only 1 turnover, but he did foul out. So there's that on that. But I mean, he had a really good game. But Darius Garland about gave them their second win of the of the series, but only 7 points short. And with everyone else on the Boston, honestly, really didn't play all that well either. I mean, the only two that actually played good was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Everyone else really didn't do anything. Drew Holiday, 16 points, and Pritchard or Peyton Pritchard with 11 points. I mean, and Boston didn't have, once again, Kristaps Porzingis out there. But I mean, those two, Jaylen Brown and Tatum, actually held that win up. So yeah. I mean, am I surprised? No. So I do
I'm disappointed.
believe. Well, I mean, right now, Cleveland is down by 4, my friend. Actually, no,
But
by 2. My fault. 2. They're down by 2.
I think they'll keep it close.
They
Here's my
will.
fear: they're down 3-1.
They will keep it close. And right now, and you know how I was just talking all that good stuff about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yep.
This game right now, they only have 7 points in the first half. The only person that actually keeping them together is Derek White.
And I don't think they need Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to win this game because Donovan. I'm disappointed. I've had Boston in the series, but I had Boston in 7. This is only game 5, my friend. And I'm disappointed because if Donovan Mitchell was playing, I'm not using the injury excuse because you still got to play the game at the end of the day. But if I feel like if Mitchell had played this series, I had Boston winning anyway. But this would have been a better series. I was high on Cleveland, higher than most people were. They had their first playoff series win without LeBron James in a long time. It's been a successful season, but I think they could have gave Boston a true run for their money and made them sweat for it. I
Mm-hmm.
had Boston in 7. Had Donovan Mitchell played, I think it'd been a different story. Because, like you said, they only lost by 7 last time. Donovan Mitchell's worth 7 points. I believe he played, they won. He's not playing tonight either. It's just disappointing, especially when star players get injured. I question whether he wants to be there at all. Um, and maybe he could play if he felt like it. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. Um, he is still under contract, so I'm just disappointed that he's injured, not playing, because I think this would be a hell of a lot better of a series. But I give Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum credit. I mean, they went out there and balled last game, did their thing. You gave the stats pretty well. Um, I need to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do it in the finals, though. The Eastern Conference is weak this year. To a point, it truly is. They got Miami, who is injury ridden, no Jimmy Butler. They've gotten Cleveland now without Donovan Mitchell. I need to see you do it against a healthy team.
Yep, and I agree.
With that, JB, one series that's been absolutely fun is the OKC Dallas series. I mean, JB, what's your thoughts on that series, my friend?
And I like I said, this series had me picking from, I don't know who is going to win this series, because both
Yeah.
teams. I mean, yes, even though the Thunder's number 1 and the Mavericks are number 5, they match each other so perfectly. It's not even funny. It's like right
Mm-hmm.
now they're battling back and forth, back and forth.
This series plays tonight at 9:30 p.m. It's 8:07 our time here at Eastern Standard Time. They play here in about an hour and a half our time, and that series is tied 2-2.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this game right now, yes, it's going to go to game 7 with no doubt in my mind. I do believe it's going to be it's going to be one of those games or one of those series where it's just going to go back and forth. We don't know who's going to win it. So, I mean, I'm right now I am lost for words of who is going to win this series because it can go either way.
And I'm gonna look at my notes here from the past. Who did we? I can't remember who I had in this series.
I don't remember what
I
I
will
had,
look.
honestly.
We both had Oklahoma City. That's right.
Hmm.
And that's right. We had that's right.
Yeah.
This series has been fun.
Yep.
This
Once
series has
again,
been
another series going. I feel like it's going to go straight down to the wire. But yeah, game.
and
I've
the more
Go ahead.
the more I look at these, and the games are close. The last two games have been close.
Hmm.
Yeah, Dallas beat the crap out of Oklahoma City by 19 points, and Oklahoma's City's beating the crap out of Dallas. So you have one blowout from each team, and one close game win from each
Actually,
team.
I mean, technically, you had two blowouts from each team, and you had two close games for each team. Because game
One won
one,
by each team, right?
Oklahoma City, they demolished the Mavericks 117 to 95. I don't know. I don't want to know
Yes.
if you count this as a slaughter, but I mean 9 points by 9 points though. Mavericks beat
Oh, I mean,
OKC 119 to 110,
it's
and then
around 10 points. I wouldn't call that thrilling.
yeah, it wasn't thrilling, but I mean it was not like a slaughter,
Right.
but a good enough game to actually get.
I would say so.
And then the Mavericks had game three with
Right.
105 to 101. And then you got OKC game four, 196.
And that was in Dallas.
And that was in Dallas. So I mean all these games are neck and neck, mostly.
And and Gilius Alexander, who was your MVP, I think Jokic has definitely proved he's the MVP this playoffs. However, you could make an argument that Gilius Alexander has done the same thing. I mean, he has the Thunder in the second round against Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and he stuck it to him in Dallas, baby. In
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, 34 points, fella. I mean, so he's put some respect on that name. That wasn't a bad MVP pick by you. I'm still going with Joker. I think he's the best player in the NBA. But that was a
I
solid
feel
pick by
like
you because Gilius
this year
Gilius.
Joker really didn't. I wouldn't say he didn't have that MVP tality.
That's I
He
mean that's fair.
I feel like um Gilix Alexander had a lot better. Had I feel like he had more points. He was more. I want to. I want to say he was like, you know, way out there. But we're look at Gillian Alexander came from. I mean, he
Oh
really
yeah,
wasn't playing all that good until he got traded, and then now. I mean, it took him quite a few years to actually get to where he's at right now, and he's putting up he put up MVP numbers left and right, and we see
yeah.
Joker do it all the time. But this year, I feel like Joker really didn't have those type of numbers like how Alexander had this year.
I mean, they both had similar numbers, and you got to I mean argue that OKC had the best record in the West. In the
Hmm.
West, that's a loaded Western Conference, JB. The Rockets were 500 and didn't even make the play-in. That's a hard Western Conference, and they were the number one seed in it. So I mean that's an argument to be made. Similar stats. OKC had a better record. It's a regular season award. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But I, oh, the Clippers do Clipper things. They really screwed up by getting rid of him, because yeah, that's a the Clippers are the Clippers. But Luka Doncic, my friend, did not really perform that well. Yeah, he had a triple double, but that triple double will lie because he missed a couple late free throws in this series that have really hurt Dallas in this series. So Luka's got to be better. The stat sheet triple double was great. I mean, Kyrie 9 points. That's absolutely absurd. Luka triple double. So I'm gonna put most of this on Kyrie, only 9 points. But Luka missing late free throws and shots. Kyrie Irving just abysmal 9 points. That's absolutely horrible. PJ Washington, I'll give him some credit though. Double double, 21 and 10, and they only lost by 4 with Kyrie only scoring 9. So I'm still going to keep OKC as my pick here. They were the number one seed in the West all year long. I think that, like I said last week, that translates to the playoffs. Regular
Hmm.
season matters.
Yeah, and I agree.
I just
But
can't believe 9 points from Kyrie. Kyrie's a champion. Kyrie's the one that had
he's
that hit that big shot to win the chip. I that 9 points. You're a champion. You're gonna be a Hall of Famer. I know he's kind of a
he's
weird personality, but
yeah,
nine
ever
points. Come on.
since his weird mumbo jumbo flat earth type deal with what he's been going through right now. I mean, ever since that, I feel like he's been so inconsistent lately. I mean, yeah,
I think he's distracted.
he'll have like his 30 plus points like in the game, and then next game 2, 9, 12. I'm like you're an NBA champion. I feel like you were the second runner up for the MVP. I mean, in my opinion, during that whole tired, he was the second runner up behind LeBron. I mean,
Oh, back then.
back then when they won the championship, I
Okay.
feel like he was very close to. I felt like to me ever since that shot that he made over Steph Curry, I feel like that should have been the MVP. But
I
that's
I
just
I 100% agree with you.
that's
Now
just
LeBron
me
had a
there.
good series.
But he had a good
LeBron
series,
had a good series,
but I mean,
and
how many close or clutch shots did LeBron
yeah,
make? None. How many did
he
Kyrie
had that.
make? I think he had like 2 or 3.
He hit that one over Steph, and that should have been enough.
Yeah,
But
to me, I do believe
LeBron was
Kyrie
going to get it.
saves. I feel like Kyrie saved his that championship
Oh
for
yeah.
the Cavaliers for that year. But I mean, we're going back to the future now, or going back to present here. Um, Kyrie, he's just I don't know. I feel like the fact that he's like now since he actually has like a team around him, like he was back then when he had LeBron with him. I mean now he has Luca and really that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all he needs. I mean he's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to share the load with Luca, but I mean 9 points.
I know Kyrie is more of a facilitator than Luca is. He's not as ball dominant. They're both ball dominant leaning players. That's why Kyrie and LeBron worked because Kyrie can play off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but 9 points. Like you said, we went back to the past. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's gonna be. He's gonna be. And 9 points. That's just not good enough. Not good enough. And Luca hit missing late shots. Not good enough. I'm sticking with OKC in this series, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, last game, I mean, he had 20. Him and Luca both had 22 points. PJ Washington with 27. I mean,
PJ Washington's having a better series as of late than Kyrie Irving, and that doesn't spell well for Dallas if that's the case. And tonight's game, my friend, is out in Dallas. Tonight's game is in Oklahoma City,
hmm
so there's that as well.
so yeah. I mean, it's
Best record out west. Yeah, I think OKC. 7 though. I think Dallas will bounce back in Game 6. The NBA playoffs this year are amazing to me because any of these teams can win. I would say the worst team left on paper is probably Indiana. Indiana even has shown potential to win. I mean, they have 2 All-Stars. I mean, they're no slump of a team. So any of these teams can win, and this has been except Cleveland. It looks like because of Donovan Mitchell. That's so disappointing. But any other really those other teams can win, and it's exciting.
yeah. It's. I feel like this is a lot better playoffs in basketball we've seen in a while, with no like actual high market people shoving cameras down LeBron's throat. Um,
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I mean
Having to
it's
deal with. Milwaukee and their weird crap of firing coaches with winning records and Giannis distractions.
Yeah. I mean, because honestly, Denver
There's no big
Nuggets
cities.
is really not that big of a distraction. Jokic is not a distraction. He doesn't want the distraction. I mean, OKC is
One of the
not really
smallest
much
markets in
of
the
a
league.
distraction. I mean, honestly, with all the teams that's actually available or that's in there right now, it's Dallas. I feel like the Dallas Mavericks is all because of Kyrie. So
And Luca, I would say Dallas is a pretty big market. The Cowboys are massive. The Mavericks, they're a pretty good show as well. So that's a big
yeah,
market. But other than that, I mean, Boston's a pretty big market. Cleveland's a small market. Indiana's an extremely small market. You got New York; they're a massive market. You got a couple big markets out there, but this is out west, especially a lot of
New
small market
York.
teams.
I feel like this is a long time coming.
They're a good
I
story.
mean,
But they're a big market.
how long has it been since the New York Knicks was actually in the playoffs?
Actually, well, Carmelo Anthony,
Ever since Carmelo Anthony. How long has the New York Knicks been relevant?
a couple mid teams mainly.
Yeah, and they never been. I feel like Carmelo really hasn't done that well in the playoffs, anyways.
A playoff player.
I mean, I feel like the Knicks really hasn't had that playoff potential team.
They haven't. It's been a long time.
And yes, they are a big market because one, they're in New York. But I mean, they really haven't had that much success in the playoffs ever.
No.
So I mean, for
I mean, I
them
agree
to
with
be
you.
number two ranked, and actually showing success, I mean, I feel like I want to say that they're that big of a out of all the teams that actually really hasn't had that much success is either Cleveland and the New York Knicks and the Pacers.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And you got a lot of teams that haven't been good in a while. Like I said, New York's a big market. You got a couple of big markets.
Yeah,
Teams that haven't been
they're a
good in a
big
while.
market, but with very little playoff success,
Right.
which
You
you
got a lot of that.
hardly ever see anymore. I hardly ever see. Like
I
if you think of big market teams, you would think they would have great playoff success. No.
there's a lot of parity in the league, and it's good to see.
Yep.
Makes the playoffs more fun, as you guys know, because our podcasts have been basketball dominated. With that, JB, that's all we have for today's unbiased hard take. Talked about a lot today, JB. All basketball. We are talking some um NFL schedule release. I'll have an announcement on that here in a minute. What do you got for the people, my friend?
Oh, well, dark times is almost here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are upon us.
Yep. And once that's done, it's dark times, my friend. Dark. And it's dark indeed. But it happens. It happens every year. I mean, we have to live with it. Just like with everything else around us, we have to live with it. But
Live in the moment. We still have a while.
we have to live in the
a while.
moment, and it's just this one of those times. And even though I just been getting notifications on my phone, the schedule is dropped, my friend. So it's getting that time, and it's looking dark times is probably not going to be as much. But that is all I have to say.
With that, the announcement I was going to make, you bring out the schedule release because it's been a while since JB's in a short take. We're talking about that. JB's going to do a short take and cover the schedule release as a whole next week. me and JB are want to pick up and talk about the schedule release. I want to get on Facebook and talk about the schedule release a little bit myself and kind of give you guys some takes on Facebook. That's something I'm trying to do. JB's trying to do. He wished all the Mother's Day. We're trying to get more involved on Facebook, give you guys more takes rather than just sharing news. And JB's going to be doing a short take on NFL schedule release here soon. Podcast incoming. Again, I'm more of a live in the moment guy. I'm going to try to live in the moment. Dark times are upon us, but it's exciting times. NBA Finals are coming. Western Eastern Conference Finals are coming. NBA is really ramping up to the most exciting time of the NBA season. So we have that to enjoy. We have some schedule release for you guys next week. That's all I got. As always, go Pack, go. Let's go Heat. Bowler up, baby. Cheers. Woohoo!
And I'm going to end it off. I will see you guys in a few minutes or in a few hours with my short take. But let's go Heat. Let's go Purdue. And let's go Steelers. We'll see you all next week.
See y'all next week.